guys, so today's video is going to be a drugstore / affordable dewy foundation routine for all skin types. And yes, that means oily skin too. There's like a common misconception that if you have oily skin, you can't have a dewy foundation routine. Step 1 is to moisturize your skin. Now you should be doing this before you apply any foundation ever, but especially if you want a dewier look. And actually keeping your skin moisturized on a daily basis is gonna help prevent from producing like mass amounts of oil. Now the moisturizer that I was using was a Pond's Clarant B3 Dark Spot Correcting Cream, and I got this at like Walgreens, I believe, but this is carried in like Walgreens, CVS, your basic drugstores, etc. So before we get started with the skin, I always prefer to do my brows. So I'm using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the color dark brown, and then we will move on. The next step would be primer. I'm using the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser, and this is just to help protect your skin from the makeup. It creates a barrier as well as give you a smoother skin appearance by filling in any pores. Next, I'm going to be taking my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in 25 medium and just covering up all of my dark marks and acne scars. Now, my skin is like looking a little crazy lately, just because I've had my period. I don't know if that's TMI, but so it kind of like went batshit crazy. But if you don't have acne, you can totally skip this step. I also don't like color correct. I don't use any of those like color wheel palettes where it's like green, yellow, purple, whatever. I just use an extra concealer and just kind of build that up. Then I'll go in with my beauty blender and just kind of pat it down without smudging it, and it just gives me a nice smooth surface while having a little bit of extra coverage in those spots. So now what I'm doing is taking my Loreal Magic Lumi primer, and I'm going to put this all over my skin. Now this primer has like a little shimmer in it. It's just pretty water-based. It's really thin, and I just want to pat that over everything that I've done so far. I don't want to smudge that around at all. And this is really pretty. Like if you want a dewier look, put it all over your face. If you want just like an extra pop in your highlight, you can just put it in certain areas, like on the tips of your cheekbones, your nose, etc. And then just take your beauty blender, the same one that we've been using so far, and just patting that down. So next we're moving on to foundation. I have to become a chemist like always because there is literally not a single brand out there that has my color close enough that I don't need to mix anything. So I'm using the L'Oreal True Match in the color W6 as well as the NYX Total Drop Foundation in the color Golden. And I am just making like a concoction based on guesstimation basically. So I painted that all over my skin, and then I'm just going to press it into the skin with my Morphe M139 brush. And take this and make sure you're patting in like smaller motions. The smaller amount of space that you move in, the more coverage you are going to get from your foundation. And that works with any brush in general. And then also go over it with a beauty sponge just to kind of even it out and soak up any extra product. Now my skin was looking a little pale when I finished blending out my foundation, so now I'm just taking the NYX Total Drop Foundation in the color Golden, which was the darker shade that I was holding before, and I'm just putting that all over my face, avoiding my under eye area because I know I'm going to be highlighting, so there's no point in like building up darker coverage there. But once I paint that all over, I'm taking my beauty sponge and just blending that out. And it still wasn't perfect, but by the time I'm done like putting powder on and highlighting and contouring, it's gonna match fine. I'm going in with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and this is the color Medium. And I'm doing a decently generous amount under my eyes. And then I'm also going to bring that down the bridge of my nose, on my chin as well, and then a tiny bit in the center of my forehead. And as usual, taking a beauty sponge, I'm going to blend all of this out. Now the reason that this foundation routine is going to work for everyone is because I'm still going to be setting my skin. Now, there are tons of people out there with dry skin or dry to normally skin who can literally put foundation on their face and walk out of the door. So if you don't need to set your face, don't. But for people with like normal to oily skin or normal combination skin, which is me, I have to set everything. Now, it's also a misconception that like once you put powder on your face, you're not going to look dewy anymore, or that you need to have a matte foundation routine to make yourself not look oily, and that is totally not true. If you follow these steps, you can rock a nice dewy foundation routine as well. And this is awesome for the summer and warmer months of the year. So I just realized that I said normally skin. I don't even know if you guys picked up on that, but I like to make up my own words, so don't make fun of me. So right now I'm taking the Airspun translucent powder and I'm setting directly under my eye as well as my eyelids. Now I am going to be cream contouring, but I personally cannot like go on and do that step without setting my eyes. If I were to do that and then come back to setting, my foundation and all of that concealer would already be creasing. I mean, I love the Shape Tape concealer, but it's not magic. So to contour, I'm using the Wet n Wild concealer, and this is in the color Dark Cocoa. And I'm actually really loving this product. I have the Anastasia cream contour kit, and I can tell you like right off the bat, it's decent, but it's not like worth the money. You can literally go to the store and find products like the Wet n Wild that are gonna give you the same amount of coverage and even better blendability, and that's just my personal opinion. And I am such an Anastasia fan, and I feel that way. I would say my only complaint with this product is the longer you let it sit on your face, the harder it is to blend out, which is pretty, standard for all types of makeup, so that's not such a big deal. But by the time I got to my forehead, like trying to blend that out was a little rough. I was putting in some elbow grease, but other than that, I really like it. I would also probably do 2 layers of it next time. In real life, it was picking up a lot more than it did on camera. When I watched the playback, I was a little surprised like how much it wasn't really showing up too much on my cheeks. So now with a damp beauty sponge, I'm going to be taking some more of the Airspun powder and now setting my entire face. So I'm doing more under my under eye, not just like directly in my wrinkles or creases, whatever. I'm not caking it up too much. I just want to add a layer of it just to kind of set everything and not like dry it out. And for those of you who watch my videos, usually you see me set my under eye with the Ben Nye banana powder. That stuff is really drying, so I wanted to avoid it for a look like this. So I'm trying to pick out like all of the lash glue that is in my lashes. I'm a jackass and I didn't like take any of that off beforehand, and all of the powders and like liquids are stuck in there. So let's try to like not pay attention to that for the rest of the video. Now I also want to give myself a little more of an intense contour, so I am going to be going over the cream contour and just kind of setting it and adding a little more color. I'm using the Wet n Wild pressed powder in the color Cocoa and just literally go over all of the exact same spots that we had cream contoured. Now to set the rest of my face, as well as kind of blend the contour in and make everything look like it's like naturally there and not 10 different layers of makeup, I'm taking the Airspun powder on a loose brush and literally putting the smallest amount and just patting it in over everything. For blush, I'm going in with MAC Melba and I'm just hitting that on the apples of my cheeks and then blending backwards a little bit. And the reason I picked this color is because a dewy foundation routine usually like you're thinking like naturally flushed, like glowing skin. So I wanted a color that was light pink and very neutral, something that's gonna make us look very natural. Now what you wanna do is set your entire face. I only have matte drugstore setting sprays, so I had to go in with my MAC Fix Plus. NYX actually has a dewy setting spray, so if you wanna run out and get that, I would. Everyone say hi, Frank. But all you want to do is coat your entire face with it, take a damp beauty blender, and pat that in everywhere. And this is what's going to give us that dewy look without actually having super dewy or oily skin. For highlight, I'm using the Anastasia and Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit. I'm using the color Forever Young, and I'm just taking that on a small pointed brush and hitting that basically on all of the high points of my face. Like I want my face to say dewy and moist and, oh, I hate that word, dewy and like glowy, and I just want it to look wet. I don't know. I want it to look wet without feeling wet. And that's kind of the goal of like a dewy foundation routine. You can honestly go in with any highlight. There are so many good drugstore highlights out there that I have heard of. I have swatched some, like NYX has some good ones. Wet n Wild has some good ones. I just can't bring myself to spend money on them when I literally have like hundreds of dollars worth of Anastasia highlights like sitting in my makeup collection. So you don't need a high-end highlighter. There are plenty of good products out there. Just highlight all of the high points of your face, and then what we're gonna do is take our damp beauty sponge and press all of that highlight in. And by doing all of this pressing into the skin, you're really giving yourself like one uniform look, which is going to mimic real skin. And it's just gonna look very natural, very like dewy, very wet, very, I don't even know what to call it. Now I'm coating my brows with the Maybelline Precise Fiber Volumizer, and I always brush the front of, oh my god, I can't think. I always brush the front of my brows forward because I personally like the bushier furrowed brow. I'm not really like a perfectly sculpted ombre looking brow type of girl, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just me personally with my face and the looks that I put out there. For lips, I recommend going in with a gloss. I have so many NYX matte lip creams. I don't have any of the glosses, so I had to go in with my Kylie Jenner Literally gloss. But a gloss is really gonna amplify like that wet look that we have going on our face and really just bring more attention to that natural, pretty glow that we're going for. Alright guys, well this is the final look. Like I said, super natural looking, super dewy, super glowy. Super easy, like I don't even know how many times I could say super in one freaking sentence. All skin types can do it, and it's basically all drugstore minus like the 2 or 3 products that I had, which I did give you dupes for, and I will also list those below. I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. Like always, thank you for watching. If you're like returning, thank you for watching. If this is your first time, I really hope you enjoyed it and you click on some more videos. As always, don't forget to stay tuned for more.